Hey, welcome. I just wanted to talk with you today about public domain information, public domain stuff, and how you can use it in your business, what it is, and why you should know about it. Okay, so personally, I do affiliate marketing, and I create my own products and sell them. I do advertising. I do, you know, creating marketing materials for businesses and stuff like that, and all the time I'm looking for images, and this is probably the number one way that I use public domain information is images. But let me just first explain what public domain is, just in case you don't know. So public domain is basically a right, and it means that there's like the right to use something. What I'm talking about in this video is electronic materials like images and digital images and books and stuff like that. But when it's in the public domain, then it's free to be used and altered, and you can put your name on it, although that's not always the most ethical thing to do. But you can basically use something that's in the public domain any way that you see fit, right? And you don't have to worry about paying any kind of royalty on it. You don't have to pay to get the material. It's just public, right? It's just free. It's kind of like the air, and you can just breathe it, right? Like nobody can take that away from you. So now I will say the rules around what makes something public domain in like the USA are different from other countries of the world. But the concept exists pretty much everywhere globally. It's just something that I encourage you to learn more about for your particular location, right? Now, what I'm going to be showing you are some public domain pieces of information that are, considered public domain in the U.S. You can use these, right, internationally for whatever. So, let's take a look at that, and let me just talk more about some of the examples. So, first we'll look at images, and all I did was go to Google and type in planets, right, and then go over here to images. Now, if I go to settings and then advanced search, I can actually go in here and go down here to usage rights and say free to use or share even commercially, free to use, share, modify even commercially. So these are different levels of what is considered Creative Commons. And the Creative Commons is something else that I would encourage you to read more about. A lot of people basically put stuff in the public domain with a Creative Commons license. And then they can use basically different levels. They could say, well, just like these examples, it's free to use or share, right? Or it's free to use or share, but you have to attribute the photo back to me, the photographer. Some people don't want it to be used commercially, so like that means you can't take the photo and like put it on use it as the image for a t-shirt to sell on Amazon or something like that. But so I encourage you to kind of understand some of those rights. But look how easy this is. Like, you can go make a collection of photos that are public domain that have all these different rights labeled for reuse, right? Now we could go with like reuse with modification. That's even better, right? This means you could put filters on it or put words on it or that kind of thing, and then use them for like social media, for example. So there's so many ideas that you can use with use public domain information for. Another way that I've used public domain information when I was trying to kind of just get better at publishing books on Kindle. This was like 9 years ago, when I was just kind of trying to figure it out. I actually took some public domain books and converted them from the scanned file into like EPUB format, and then I converted that to Kindle format so I could upload them and sell them on Kindle. Those books are still for sale, and I actually still make money every year from those books. And like one of them was about Model T Ford plans, so like if you were a mechanic and you needed to work on a Model T Ford, it was like all the plans you needed for that. And basically I didn't claim to be the author or anything. I just put it together, and you can resell the book that way. So that was public domain information. I just made it electronic and into Kindle format. There's so much you can do with it. And the other thing that is probably worth mentioning is, again, it comes back to images. There's also a ton of videos. So like, for instance, you can see these little video shots that, if you're making videos for, to sell or PLR or for Fiverr or that kind of thing, like why not check out some public domain video snippets and use those, make a collection of them or something like that. There's so many different ideas, right? And the possibilities are endless. And if you want to sort of know more, find more sources for public domain information, there's actually a product from Amy that has gone on sale today that's all about public domain stuff and what to do with it. So she basically kind of goes through in her product like, here's her favorite sources of public domain info. Here's some different ways you can use it. And basically just gives you like a formula for using it and profiting from it. Because I won't say that the idea of putting stuff in the public domain is so that other people can go and make money from it, without ever attributing anything or, but it's a great way to like get started in online marketing and just have a product, right? So, you basically can charge for public domain stuff when you collect it or modify it or make it better in some way, make it more usable. Do work for other people that they don't want to do, like collecting tons of photos together and putting them all in one place, or organizing them, or making them into memes for social media or that kind of thing. Those are all like value adds that you can charge for, even though you're using public domain info, right? So, and that's what her course is all about. And so I'll put a link to it below. I've also got a bonus. I made a product a couple of years ago called Creative Commons Profits, and it's just basically like walks through tons of ideas for, it's really not tons, it's like 10 or 15 ideas that are what I saw as like the very best ways to use Creative Commons info and sell it, right? So like actionable, like here, do this, and turn that into a product. So I'm giving that as a bonus, and so all of that is at the info at the link below, which just takes you to the blog, talks about the bonus, and then from there you can go check out the product if you're interested. Otherwise, I've kind of told you what I can tell you about public domain. There's a ton to research, but it depends on your location. And so I encourage you to dig into it, though, because there's tons of useful info there, and it's always a good way to get started and find good stuff to use in your business. So I hope that helps, and hey, we'll see you in the next video.